welcome back to the 1497 podcast, baby. You know the vibes. It's your boy, Jonathan Keaton in the cut. Oh, wait, you guys didn't even get to hear the intro. Yo, welcome back. Like I said, it's your boy, Jonathan Keaton in the cut. Right next to me is the greatest co-host to ever walk on the planet, the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Wood, aka Mr. Wood in the house. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing fantastic. Just got off work, slinging some tickets, selling some baseball shirts. Lincoln Salt Dogs, best show in town. If you're in the Nebraska area, if you want to see some good baseball, until up and coming, the College World Series comes to town in a couple weeks. But other than that, I'm doing great, John. I just got done with work. We had a great night last night on Fortnite. But how are you doing today?
Man. The Fortnite was just we were just finishing, but we weren't finishing at the top level. But I'm doing pretty good. I was down 2-0 when I was playing in an MLB game, came back and won 5-2. Shout out Corey Seager for hitting a 3-run blast. Or no, because I scored, so it was 2-1. Shout out to Corey Seager for hitting a 3-run blast over in right field in Washington Nationals Park, baby. Other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready to get into it.
Let's go. Let's get it. What we got first?
All right. So we got a lot of stuff that's going on today, and one, I posted like a little teaser for it, and a lot of people were kind of triggered by the question. So I think we should start off right with that. Who's better, Andrew Wiggins or Jaylen Brown?
John, are you? This isn't even a question. It's Jaylen Brown. Um, I mean, we can both be honest with ourselves. When we talk about scoring, who's the better scorer? Jaylen Brown. Better defender? That's where the question comes in, right? Better defender, the question comes in. Offensively, I think Jaylen Brown just has a much deeper bag. He can handle the ball better. Neither one of them are necessarily playmakers. So I think what it comes down to is the two aspects of their game that they're both. I guess Wiggins isn't known for his scoring. Wiggins is known for his defense at this point in his career, whereas Jaylen Brown's known for being a two-way player, one of the best two-way players in the league, especially at the position he plays at the two guard, one of the best two guards behind, I guess, Paul George, and if we're counting Jimmy Butler as a 2 instead of a 3. But Jaylen Brown's one of the best two-way players in the league as it is. Wiggins isn't in that conversation. He might come up soon, just the way he's been playing in the playoffs. But if we're being honest with ourselves, it's Jaylen Brown.
I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, and I love ruffling some feathers. I got Andrew Wiggins in this case. Jaylen Brown is a consistent scorer. Don't get me wrong. He scores 20 with ease. There is no problem with him getting 20. There's no problem with that. And then the defense, that's the question that pops up. But if we're looking off of just this season, because just this season, let's not forget Andrew Wiggins is having the season of his life. And let's not forget, he has made a huge impact to the Golden State Warriors this year because Steph Curry was coming off the bench. Clay is still coming off his injury. And then outside of that, you're looking and you're saying, wait a minute, who is consistently scoring in these earlier series with Denver, with Memphis? And it was Andrew Wiggins. And one thing that pointed out to me was in closeout games, because those where superstars are made in closeout games and games that matters too. In 2 out of the 3 closeout games, Andrew Wiggins had a double-double. If we're not looking at this season, we're not even thinking about that for Andrew Wiggins. We're not even thinking that Andrew Wiggins is getting above 15 because most people in their mind think Andrew Wiggins is a bust. So then that ties into my other point. That's why he's a big reason to why the Warriors are in the finals, because a lot of people say that the Warriors are deep as the Celtics. I don't think so, because you look at Steph Curry. Steph Curry was coming off the bench, like I said. Clay was getting back to it. Other than that, Jordan Poole, since those 2 games in Denver and 1 game in Memphis, he hasn't really done anything that's eye-opening. So then you're looking at all the other players, and you're like, okay, so how did they get all the way to the finals? Then you start looking at Andrew Wiggins, you start looking at his numbers, and you're like, okay, this is consistency on the offensive end, because we know he can play defense. So we're looking at it as, okay, this is consistent. I like this consistency. This is matching up with Jaylen Brown. He's not there yet with the 20 plus points and all that hoopla, but he's right there. He's right there in the mix with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this season all we want, but you look at Andrew Wiggins' career averages, just his career averages. I'm not talking like, I'll be honest, it's the best year of his career. I don't get me wrong, but in Andrew Wiggins' career, he averages 19.3 points. He averages 4.4 rebounds, 2.3 assists. This season, his points are lower, his assists are lower, and his rebounds are 0.1 higher than his career average. So you look at just his career average, it seems like it's a down year. But I will give you it's one of his best years. But he's averaging 17 compared to Jaylen Brown, who's averaging 23, nearly 24, 6 and almost 4 as well. And then in the playoffs, Jaylen Brown's averaging 22.7, so nearly 23. And he's doing that. You said consistent. I'd argue he's a little less consistent than he has been, but he's doing that on 47%. So 23 on 47%. And then Wiggins is doing 17, or wait, no, pardon me. He's 15.8, which is lower than his season average on 40. So they're shooting the same percent. Wiggins is averaging 15.8, so his season average is higher than his playoff average. Whereas Jaylen Brown, and it's by like 2 points, Jaylen Brown is slightly lower than his season average by less than a point. But, I mean, in my opinion, these two guys are comparable as far as when we look at defense, right? When you look at the defense, I think these guys are neck and neck. So then I have to take it to offense, where everything – I'm not discrediting Andrew Wiggins at all. Personally, we're making a top 20 list when the season's over. I might put Andrew Wiggins in that 20 spot, 19 maybe. And Jaylen Brown would be – like, it's not a big gap, but I think it's kind of – we can both agree that they're both really good defenders. Wiggins probably has a slight edge, but offensively, Jaylen Brown's just so much higher than Andrew Wiggins. And it's because Andrew Wiggins kind of has a Ben Simmons feel when he plays offense. And I don't mean like, oh, he can't shoot, but he doesn't he's not very confident all the time. He doesn't always take control because he heats up sometimes and then just doesn't keep attacking because he has so many good scorers around him. Personally, I got to take Jaylen Brown just because he can score better. They defend nearly the same, and it's for me, it's a no-brainer. It's Jaylen Brown.
I think where people get kind of lost in the conversation is when they start talking about like the careers and all that. Because if we're going off of this year, I'm sticking with Andrew Wiggins, and the reason I'm pulling up something right now because you mentioned his confidence, and I think if confidence was a big thing for him, then we would notice that in his numbers, and we would notice that in his 3-point percentage. Like, look at this for example. In the last game 6, when they played Dallas, he had 18 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and he went 0 for 7 from 3. So in the next game, as a general analysis of the game, or just a person just watching the game, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, if Andrew Wiggins doesn't have confidence, he's not going to even touch the 3-point line. He's not going to even attempt the 3. And then the next game, it's not perfect, but he goes 2 for 7. And then the next game after that, game 2 of the NBA Finals, he goes 2 for 3. And 2 of those threes coming in at big times, because we look at the first 3, game was tied up. You hit that 3, it puts you up by 2 because the score was 50-49. So it puts you up by 2 and you're going into halftime. You're feeling yourself because now as the Warriors, you're like, we lost this quarter going into the fourth quarter, or we lost the third quarter and we lost the fourth quarter in our other game. So we want to push the throttle to the metal. Then you come out and Andrew Wiggins hits another 3. So I don't think he'd be shooting those shots if he didn't feel comfortable from it. And then there's a couple plays too, but we're set in stone on the defense. It's more of it's the offensive conversation with us. And in all honesty, because I had a bunch of offensive rebounding, and offensive rebounding has gotten better, a lot better, because there's plays where you would see Andrew Wiggins crash the boards, get his board, and put it up. I think we can say that Jaylen Brown might be a better shooter, but if we do, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. So try to stay with me while I switch it up. It might be confusing. I would say this: Jaylen Brown is in a better situation where he could score 20 and be consistent scoring 20. Where in the Warriors department, I don't think Andrew Wiggins is really in that situation. Andrew Wiggins is looked at the third man of the offense, but I think if he gets traded to a team that needs a two score or even a first score, Andrew Wiggins can be that option for you.
Okay, but wasn't Andrew Wiggins already? He's been in a situation before where he
Mm-hmm.
was that number one option. I mean, not necessarily number one, but number two to Cat. For what was it? 5 years he was the number two to Cat. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess we saw him have some good seasons. I believe he averaged 20 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Here's the biggest thing for me because I do think that they're both really comparable. And you said
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown has the offensive edge. Honestly, he does, but it's very small. And you made a good point. He has more of a load, but that's what it comes down
Mm-hmm.
to for me. Jaylen Brown is, pardon me, Jaylen Brown is being asked to do more than Andrew Wiggins is being asked to do. Two players who have similar skill levels. I think when you're being asked to do more, and granted, Andrew Wiggins doesn't need to hit threes. He's got two of the best three-point shooters of all time, and then he has one of the best three-point shooters in the game currently. He does need to grab offensive rebounds. He's done that. He needs to grab rebounds. He's done that. But Jaylen Brown and Andrew Wiggins is being asked to defend as well. He guarded Luka phenomenally. Jaylen Brown's being asked to defend, being asked to score. Sometimes, like game one, Jaylen Brown has to be the number one scorer. I know he wasn't, but he was being asked to be the number one scorer that game, and
Mm-hmm.
you could just tell, you could feel. So he's being asked to defend, score. He's got to play make at times, which he's not very good at. He's got to handle the ball. Jaylen Brown's being asked to do more with a similar skill set. He's just flat out better.
I think one other thing that I'll say about that is there's other guys that were going in that game too. We can't forget about that. That game one, Al Horford was going, Marcus Smart was going, and Derek White was going too. So I don't think the load was as big. It's just Jaylen Brown just took over the game. And then speaking of that game too, you as anyone as a casual fan who somehow just didn't watch the finals and just looked at the box score, before they even looked at it, they'll probably say to themselves, Andrew Wiggins he's not gonna be the scorer. If anything, it's gonna be Steph, Clay, Jordan, and then I'll maybe see Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, outside of Steph, was the only player for the Warriors to score 20 points. 20 points. And you brought up a good point too on how he was already in that Minnesota situation, but I don't think he wasn't nowhere close to where he is now. I think you plug him into that situation now, he's definitely going to flourish.
I mean, I have no question. But I think Andrew
Mm-hmm.
Wiggins is a phenomenal player. But you brought up a great point. He's the only one who scored 20 points other than Steph Curry. You know why? Because he's actually in a better situation than Jaylen Brown is.
Oh,
Because
do tell, do tell.
when he is not being asked to score 20. So when because he averaged what? I think we said 17 this season.
Mm-hmm.
That's an all-star. Jaylen Brown wasn't an all-star averaging 24. Andrew Wiggins, and we agree on the defense. They're both similar caliber defenders.
Mm-hmm.
But when he scores 17, no one expects Andrew Wiggins to come out and average 17 and be a big factor on a team like he was because he hasn't been. His expectations were low this season. They've been low since he's been on the Warriors, which allows him to fail. And if Andrew Wiggins goes 3 for 14 or whatever Jaylen Brown shot in game two, we're not really criticizing him the way that we criticize Jaylen Brown for that game two performance because Jaylen Brown playing that way lost the Celtics that game. Andrew Wiggins can play that way, and the Warriors, I have no doubt that they can still they might not win, but they can stay in a game. The Celtics lost by 30, and Jaylen Brown played bad. Any player on the Warriors can play bad, and they still have a chance to win. I mean, Klay Thompson played bad. That's the thing about the Warriors. They only need, if one player plays bad, no problem. They can still win. And you can be like, well, the Celtics, Jason Tatum played bad in game one. That's different because Jason Tatum still facilitated. Klay Thompson did nothing. Klay Thompson was running and jumping. He literally did not. It's a better situation for Wiggins just because he's able to fail and the team can still succeed. Whereas Jaylen Brown needs to succeed for the team to succeed. I think it's a lot closer than people make it seem. But for the last time, Jaylen Brown's my pick.
One more thing, because you made me another good point came up to my head. I think more people are going to be mad at Jaylen Brown because we saw Jaylen Brown go crazy in the first half. We saw him get 15 points with ease. Him and Jason Tatum were just hitting shot after shot after shot. So as fans, we're like, okay, this is going to be a game. We're going to get down the wire action. And then Jaylen Brown he's just not making shots. No one is making shots. That's where I think right there is where the failure comes in because we are expecting him to do so much. Or no. We are expecting him to do what he did in the first half, and then when it's just an immediate drop off from there, and it continue to happen over and over again, then it's like, wait a minute, where's the Marcus Smarts? Where's the Al Horfords? Where's the Derek Whites? Those guys needs to step up too. And I think the big reason why they lost that game is because of foul calls and turnovers. But yeah, agree to disagree. It's all good. I got 8 wigs though.
What do we got next?
Next we got well, since we're on NBA, we can still talk about NBA. Is Jaylen Brown holding back the Celtics? If that's the way we phrase the question off the air, because I know it was something along that lines.
Yeah, I believe it. That's how we said it. Is Jaylen Brown holding back the Celtics, or is he enough? Is what we said. Is Jaylen Brown enough to be a second option? So that's what we're gonna go with. Yeah, Jaylen Brown is definitely enough for the Celtics. I mean, you don't get to the NBA Finals if your second option isn't enough. I mean, that's precisely why the Miami Heat weren't able to make the finals. Why the Miami Heat have been to the finals and they lose? Because Bam Adebayo, just right now, stage of his career, isn't enough to be a second option on a championship team. And the bubble was different. Mentally tough players succeeded in the bubble, and that's what the Heat were. But is Jaylen Brown enough for this team to be an NBA champion? Be NBA champions? Yeah, Jaylen Brown is enough. I mean, we just praised him for his defense. The guy scores 24 a night. The one thing I will say, and we both kind of mentioned it, he's not necessarily inconsistent, but he doesn't shoot the ball at a super high clip. Like he's never really over 50% like at any game. I mean, his average is I think 47. So he's a below 50% shooter, and a lot of guys are like that. But when you're a number two, shooting under 50% is tough because you want to be able to get the ball and score it as many times as possible, so it's no wasted possessions when you get the ball, and if you don't take away anything from the number one. I think Jaylen Brown is enough just because he brings defense, he can score. The biggest concern is his lack of playmaking skills. He's just not a very good passer, and not a super willing passer either. So that's the biggest concern for me when in regards to Jaylen Brown. But do I think he's enough for the Celtics to win? At least this series, I think Jaylen Brown, he is enough. If he plays the way that we all know he can play, he's enough. And even if they lose, I'll stick with that statement. He's definitely enough for the Celtics to be NBA champions.
I think Jaylen Brown, as we go back to the Jaylen Brown discussion, everything about Jaylen Brown, or not almost everything about Jaylen Brown, is good. And the one thing that holds him back is the playmaking abilities. I feel like that is going to hold the Celtics back. Jaylen Brown's playmaking is going to hold the Celtics back because we look at the facilitators for Golden State. You have an up-and-coming Jordan Poole. You have Draymond Green. You have Steph Curry. You have Klay Thompson. And their bigs can move the ball too. Now, with the Celtics, you have Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Al Horford at times. If you add Jaylen Brown to the mix, not only if you have them all on the floor at the same time, it spreads out the floor completely. That's why the Warriors ball movement is such a amazing thing to watch. It's literally just watching a flower grow. It's just so beautiful because as they're moving the ball around, people are moving around. You get to see the cut action and you get to see wide open guys off of those cuts. And here's the thing that I found out today, too. When Jaylen Brown is able to facilitate, we're talking over 5+ assists. The Celtics have a 5-2 record over the playoffs. So when Jaylen Brown has come to play facilitating wise, the Celtics have won 5 games and only lost 2 of those games. So if Jaylen Brown starts to pass more, and we're not talking about any crazy numbers, just the bare minimum from him, because whatchamacallit, Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart, they're averaging around 6, close to 7 assists a game. So the bare minimum for him, for Jaylen Brown, would be like 3 or 4 assists a game. Because then that's helping out, and you're getting 12 to 13 assists around that range every single game. And if you have all those guys on the floor, it just makes beautiful ball movement. And that's the only thing that's holding the Celtics back, is Jaylen Brown's playmaking ability. Once he unlocks that, the Celtics can really run away with the series.
Yeah, and I mean, we both said playmaking, it's the biggest thing. The Celtics in game 1 had 33 assists. It was their first over 30 assist game in the playoffs. I'll give you that. The Warriors had 24, so they beat them by 9 in the assist battle. Game 2, the Celtics had 24, that's a good number. 24 is a good number of assists. The Warriors had 25, so they only beat them by 1. But the Warriors ball movement is so good that they're going to stick around that 24, 25 range all the time. But the way the Warriors are playing defense on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're kind of converging and then getting back to those shooters late. It's giving guys chances. That's why they got 33 assists in game 1, because they're giving guys like Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford, they're giving them looks. Grant Williams, they're giving these guys looks to shoot the ball. It's just whether or not it's going in. And so far, game 1, they were going in. Game 2, not really. I mean, Derek White also, he had 22 in game 1 and only 12 in game 2. But that's expected. We expect him to get 12. And so the Warriors, compared to the Celtics, 30-plus assist games in the playoffs. Celtics have 1, the Warriors have 5. And I would think we'd both agree that the Warriors this playoff run have made it look easier than the Celtics have made it look. They've played easier teams, that they have. But passing the ball, moving the ball, it helps. And Jaylen Brown, when you're the guy that has the ball the second most at anyone on the team, you got to be able to move the ball. And I know you said 5 assists is what he needs to get. He doesn't even need to get assists, to be honest. He just needs to move the ball, because if he passes to someone that's open, they can pass to another person that's open. And that's just how ball movement works. But if he holds the ball to like 5 seconds left and the shot clock either chucks up a shot or passes it, no one's really few people are making that shot. That's why his assist numbers are low. So, yeah, he needs to be a more willing passer, and the Celtics can win this thing.
And then another thing, too, because we talked about Luka, and we talked about how Luka can't move without the ball. I think that could really help Jaylen Brown, because not only that, as the Warriors, if you're seeing Jaylen Brown move without the ball, now you're just shadowing Jaylen Brown everywhere he goes. And now once he gets the ball, and if he's able to create other shots, because you also got to think about this aspect too. If Jaylen Brown's able to get that person the ball, what if that person can't create their own shot to get a bucket? And I know we live in what if worlds, and we could go on a list of what ifs. I just think that if he's able to move off the ball, it's going to make playmaking so much easier for Jaylen Brown. Because look at Steph Curry. Steph Curry doesn't even have to touch the ball for a possession, and they'll still find a way to get him the ball, to get Jordan Poole the ball, to get Draymond Green the ball, Kevon Looney the ball, Otto Porter the ball, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, Steph Curry, he's one of the most underrated, maybe the only all-time great at playmaking without the ball. You can say like guys that set screens, but Steph Curry, the way he moves, and because he requires so much attention from defenses, so he moves around, just runs around nonstop. Teams have to focus on him. Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, someone's wide open, and that could be like a Kevon Looney or Draymond Green. But yeah, Steph Curry moves without the ball, and it gets people open. The Celtics, they did a really good job in game 1 of those guys hitting open shots, and if they have to rely on Al Horford, Derek White, Marcus Smart, Peyton Pritchard, Grant Williams hitting open shots, honestly, I think the Celtics have a good chance of winning. If the Warriors are going to let those guys shoot, it might go to 7. But if you're going to let those guys shoot, they're NBA players. At some point, these shots are going to start falling. And maybe the Warriors, if they keep playing this way, take game 3. But the Celtics they won't continue to have off nights, is what I'm saying, if this is how the Warriors are going to play. So Honestly, I think Jaylen Brown just needs to keep doing his thing. He needs to take better shots. That's what he
Yeah,
needs.
that too.
When he shoots, take better shots, be a willing passer, and I think the Celtics will be just fine.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna make early prediction here. I think Boston wins by. I'm gonna say they win by They're gonna win by 5 points or more, and on Wednesday because they're going back to Boston. They just had a frustrating loss, and after they had those frustrating losses, they came back strong. I mean, the Miami series is just a whole bunch of examples of them getting, excuse my French, getting their ass whooped, and then come back and just opening that can of whoop ass.
Yeah, the Celtics have not lost back-to-back games all playoffs long. Honestly, I don't expect that to happen now, but if they continue to have these poor shooting performances, then it will. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to. So I'm with you. I'm going to pick the Celtics, but I don't know about how much.
Decent. That's decent. Okay, so think we hit all of our basketball today? I think we got all of our basketball
Yeah.
out of the park. Man, baseball. Speaking of parks, the Yankees. I mean, geez, Louise, the Yankees. I mean, did we kind of expect this from the Yankees? I mean, looking at the morality standpoint, you lose in the first. I think they lost in the first round of the playoffs last year, or
Uh,
was it the second round?
I think it was the first round. Yeah, I think it was the first round.
So you lose first. They lose first round of the playoffs. Everyone's thinking they're about to be the American League. Which we call it the American representing the American League in the World Series. That didn't happen. Wasn't even close to doing that. So now it's like, okay, we got the hitters. We got everyone that you can name that is going to be in a home run derby. Let's do this. And the Yankees just pulled off and just haven't looked back from there. I mean, 39-15, and this record is the most winningest record after the first half of the season since the 2001 Seattle Mariners when they were 42-12, and they got the best home record right now too. I think this has changed, but they're 23-7. I know they're talking about that being like one of the best home records in like a long time. And then this stat, you think their hitting is just doing the thing. Pitching, Jordan Montgomery allowed 2 runs, more than 2 runs, and it ends a streak of 5 straight games of allowing 1 run or fewer.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing with the Yankees. Um, when you have the one of the best records to the first 1/3 of the season of all time, expectations are high. But expectations, people might like. I saw a show, I can't remember what it was, but they said expectations are now even higher for the Yankees. No, they're not. All right, let's be honest. Look at this team and tell me that expectations were not winning a World Series this season. You got Aaron Judge, obviously, Anthony Rizzo, who's coming. People thought he might have a down year. You got Rizzo, you got Gleyber Torres, LeMahieu, uh, Giancarlo Stanton, he isn't necessarily himself, but he's playing well. Josh Donaldson, Joey Gallo, and then honestly, I didn't know who this was until a couple days ago, but Isaiah Kiner Falefa, who has been playing really well. Aaron Judge leads MLB in home runs. I mean, he's just having a deal. He's 11th in batting average, first in home runs, sixth in RBIs, first in OPS. I mean, Aaron Judge right now is arguably the best player in baseball. The Yankees are the best team in baseball. This is a scary sight if you're a fan of any team other than the Yankees because they're top. I think they're seventh in runs per game, and then they're number one in ERA. So this is no team to like joke around with. I mean, obviously we know that they're one of the best teams of all time through this point of the season, but expectations are just as high as they've always been with a team with these names on it. Like you mentioned, where they finished last year, there was disappointment this season. They're not standing for any of that. I mean, this is one of the best teams that since I've followed baseball closely, it's one of the best teams that I've ever seen play. Obviously, the White Sox got them in a series, but it's very rare that we'll see this team lose a series. It's I don't want to say that they would be my pick for the World Series right now because honestly, I might pick the Dodgers just based off pitching. I know I just said they have the best ERA, but I just like the Dodgers pitchers a little more, but the Yankees are scary. I don't know if I'd go say scary enough where I'd be willing to place a bet on them to win the World Series. But it's a really nasty team and one of only 3 teams to have under a ERA of 3. So Yankees, but the Mets are right on their tail. So there's a lot of stories going on. New York runs baseball right now. But yeah, the Yankees being this good right now doesn't honestly surprise me.
See, I would say this because we know the Mets, for example. We know the Mets, they always start off hot. And what happens in mid-season? They fall off. So this right now, what the Mets are doing, everyone, including their fan base, is just waiting for the implosion. And then with the Yankees standpoint too, as a Yankees fan, you're like, okay, our team is good, but I thought our team was going to be Goliath, just run through everything that we see, and we're going to be untouched. And we lose in the first round. So now you're going into it like, oh snap, like we're beatable. Like, oh, I'm kind of on my heels a little bit. Like you still know the people on your team. You still know that they're going to get the job done, but they get off to this start. As a Yankees fan, you're saying World Series, World Series, World Series. As an analyst, you're kind of poking the bear a little bit. You're kind of being like, man, I don't know, because we saw them in the playoffs last year, so we don't know what to expect from them. But the way that they're playing right now, they're easily the front runners for the American League. So then that's where the expectations of the Yankees go a little higher every single game. Because we just praised the Yankees in having the best ERA, having the best record since the 2001 Mariners, so on and so forth. So we know that because anything could happen, but most likely the Yankees are going to make the playoffs. Then, if they're still playing the way that they're playing now, when they get closer and closer to playoffs, everyone's going to be like, Yankees World Series, Yankees World Series, Yankees World Series, Yankees World Series. So as the Yankees players, as you're hearing all this, the expectations, you can't even see it on my screen. It's way through the ceiling. It's all the way up there where God is. It's all the way up there. So I think as they play better, the expectations are getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And as insane as that for me to say right now, because right now their atmosphere is just, I don't even know where it is. It's pretty high. And if they continue with this play, it's going to get even higher.
Here's my biggest thing with the Yankees. And I'm going to bring up an example from a movie. It's a little bit Hollywood of me, but have you seen the movie Moneyball?
I love that movie.
Yeah, Moneyball's about the A's who went on, what was it, a 21-game win streak,
Mm-hmm.
which is unheard of in MLB. I think that's what the win streak was. That team, as hot as they were, didn't end up winning the World Series. So that's what I think of when I think of baseball. Baseball
Mm-hmm.
is all about, and this is pretty much playoffs with anything, more so baseball, the NFL, the ML or the NBA. Sometimes a team is just flat out better, but in the NFL and the MLB, if a team is hot in the playoffs, there's not much you can do to beat them. So it's mainly who's hot wins. So if the Yankees team is 39-15 in their final 54 games going into the playoffs, then yeah, I'm gonna be saying that these are the World Series champs. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Teams slow down in baseball. It's just how it goes. Injuries happen. They've been one of the few teams that haven't really got injured too much. But here's the thing I want to say about the Yankees that does scare me. As far as runs scored against per game, so not ERA, because sometimes there's errors like ERA and runs scored against are different.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only team under 3 for runs scored against per game, and they're the only team under 7 hits per game. So this team is not letting people score, and they're not letting people really even get on base. And they're number 1 in fewest walks per game. So they're throwing strikes, getting people out, not letting people on base. No one is really scoring against them. That's scary. So if their bullpen stays the way it is, you don't even need Aaron Judge to be hitting 21 home runs. I mean, it helps. It sure does help, but you don't need it. to win games, and that's why they've been so good, is because the pitching has been phenomenal, been the best in the league, and the hitting has just been unbelievable. Not the best in the league, but it's been top 7, I'll say, because Aaron Judge is the best hitter in the league right now, and then the rest of the teams kind of falls off a little bit. But yeah, so when your combination of pitching and hitting is this good, it's hard not to be the best team in baseball. I mean, but it's just natural. It's how baseball works. You brought up the Mets. They always start well, fall off. That happens with most teams that start well. You fall off just a little bit. I'm not saying that they're going to go lose their next 45 games in a row, but the Yankees will fall off a little bit. So that's why I don't think they're going to win the World Series at this point. Right now, I would not pick them to win the World Series.
Man, as the baseball season heats up, because I don't even know how far we are from the All-Star game, because like we're still in like the midst of the beginnings of the new season.
Yeah, I don't know when the All-Star game is. I forget.
I think it's got to be sometime like next month, right? Like middle next month.
I think it's one more month after that.
Oh yeah, because my bad to cut you off because of the lockout. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I think it's in July. No, I think it's in August.
Yeah, it's got to be because like the season's going to go into where the NBA season's going to start back up again because of the lockout. I mean, for us, that's it's sports, baby. Like who doesn't love watching sports?
More sports. That's what. And then what's the final thing that we were gonna chat it up about?
The top 10, because we gotta throw in our weekly power rankings.
I mean, I think obviously we got a number one consensus number one being
the Chicago White Sox.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. And honestly, John, I think we just make it easy and go number 2 is the Mets. New York runs baseball. I don't see a way for us to really market any different. So I think the Mets are number 2.
Yeah. For what's crazy about that is I put the Mets 3 on my list, and I have 2 and 4 blank. I'm just staring at 2 and 4 right now because I just didn't know who to put in 2 and 4 because a lot of teams in their last 10 games they have either been they've been good. It's nothing outstanding. They've been good. And then when you look at the ones that are like, oh, well, that's nice. Then you look at the teams that they beat, and you're like, oh, well, they're supposed to beat those teams. And the other teams are just right at 500, 5-5 in their last 10 games.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say for me, the last 10 is the most important thing. But like for example, the Dodgers are 5-5, and their last 10, the Braves are 7-3. I'm not gonna put the Braves above the Dodgers just because their last 10 is better. It's more so if they're close. That's why when I look at the Dodgers and the Astros, I got the Astros at 3.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the Astros being at 3. This might sound acidine. I got the Dodgers at 6. It is unacceptable that they got swept by I think it was the Pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is unacceptable.
The Pirates haven't swept anybody since last year, by the way. And I think it was 2019 or no, just 2020. Here's my question to you, because I have this team at 5, and I also have the Dodgers at 6. But let's go to 4. 4, I got the Padres.
Ooh, okay.
And then who do you have at 4? Oh, you have it blank.
No. I have the Padres at 5 though.
Okay. At 5, I have the Blue Jays.
Snap. I got them at 7. The reason I got them at 7 is because the Blue Jays, they destroyed our White Sox. They swept the White Sox. We look at the White Sox, it's not really like it pains me to say, we have to say it. The White Sox have not looked good. They look far from good. They look terrible. So I look at that. That's a team that you're supposed to beat. Then you look at the Twins. Okay, you lose 2 games against the Twins. So in the Twins department, they're probably asking them, why are we not on 1497 Podcast's top 10 power ranking list? Because we just beat this team that's on your power ranking list. So then after that, the closest series from the White Sox is the Angels. And the Angels have lost 11 straight games. So I don't know if we can put the Blue Jays that high.
That's fine by me. I just really like what they're doing. But yeah, no, that's fine. So right now we got Yankees, Mets, Astros, Padres. Who do you got in the fifth spot?
Fifth. Okay. Wait. So we got. So wait. So we got Yankees 1. Who we
Yep.
got 2?
Mets.
Mets 2. Astros 3.
Yep.
Okay. And then who we got 4?
Padres.
Padres 4. And then who we got 5?
Nobody.
Nobody. And then we got. Are we solidified with Dodgers at 6?
I'll put Dodgers at 5 because I don't know who else I'd put above them.
Because who? That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Because I'm looking at after the Dodgers, I have the Blue Jays, Mariners, St. Louis, and the Brewers.
Okay. I mean, I think we got to put Dodgers at 5 then.
Yeah, we got to because I don't like, despite the fact of them getting swept by the Pirates is embarrassing. I mean, what other team has really played good and beat opponents while playing good? Beat top tier opponents.
So let me make sure I heard you correctly. You said the Mariners at 8?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell.
Let me tell you why, Mr. Wood. Let me tell you why I got the Mariners at 8, baby.
Brother,
Now,
they 6 games under 500. Tell me.
I know they are. But listen. When they played the Astros, they played them May 27th through May 29th. Guess how many times they beat the Astros in that series? They beat them 2 out of the 3 times. So we got the Astros in the top 5. So you're like, okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing. What I say about Baltimore? Baltimore is a good team at home. They play good baseball at home. You beat the Orioles at home 2 out of those 3 games. The Rangers, that looked like underdogs coming into this season, they're not a bad team. They're not scrubs. I think when it gets closer and closer to playoff time, that's going to be a team fighting for a wild card spot. They beat the Rangers 2 out of 3 times on the road. So it's hard to go on a road trip and beat teams that are good at home. And then you look at what they did in the last 10 games. They're 6-4 in the last 10. And like we said too, the 7 through 10, that's our sleeper. That's the sleeper range of lists. So that's why I got the Mariners at 8.
My problem with the Mariners is I look at their roster, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got Ty France, Adam Frazier, Eugenio Suarez, J.P. Crawford, and then you got the Rookie of the Year at this point, in Julio Rodriguez. And you would think that this team would be at least 500.
Mm-hmm.
You would. I just simply looking at their team's roster, you would think that they'd be at least 500 at this point in the season. And also, if we're putting that, because right now we would put them at 7 because we don't have a 7 right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have them at 8, correct?
Yeah.
I'll make a compromise. I don't want to do it at all. I don't want to put the Mariners in the top. I don't want to do it. I'm telling you right now. This is not my idea. But I'll put them at 9.
Okay, so who are you putting over the Mariners?
Everybody? Are you kidding me?
well, I mean, who are you putting at that 7 spot?
The Brewers.
Okay.
I would put the Brewers at 7, and then it pains me to say it, but I put your Cardinals at the 8 spot.
Okay. That I can see. I got a flip flop. I got the Mariners and then the Cardinals and the Brewers.
All right, so then we need a 10. And the 10 spots between the Rays, Twins. I mean, honestly, I don't. Maybe Boston. The 10 spot is tough. I had the Twins in my 10 spot, but you brought up a good point. The Twins haven't been playing their best baseball, so I don't know if I would keep them there.
I think what we got to do, we put the Mariners at 10. And the reason I say that is for all the other reasons that I brought up. Because we got the Brewers. The Brewers, they were competition to the Padres, and we got the Padres in the top 5. And they're able. I think they took one from the Padres, and then they beat another good slate of teams on top of that. and then the Cardinals too. So it's honestly who we put above each other. Either the Brewers go above or the Cardinals go above. But I think the Mariners go at 10 because the Rays, they're in the same situation as the Twins, where you were just bullying up on the White Sox. And I mean, the White Sox are just let's just say it, they're just a dumpster fire of a franchise right now. So I think we put the Mariners at 10.
So who are you saying to put at 9?
9, I say we go Cards. We go Cards 9, Brewers 8.
Then we have a 7 because right now we got this the 6 through 10 right now is Blue Jays, Brewers, Cardinals, Mariners.
Okay.
So we need to fill one spot in that final 5. My opinion, I say we go with the Red Sox. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They have a run differential of nearly 40, which would be that's trying to do the math real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. They have the 6th best run differential in MLB right now. 6th best. And a 4-game win streak. I think that warrants. God, the Mariners have a better run differential than the White Sox.
Because I am on the brink of that point right there, because they are beating teams that they're supposed to beat, and they're beating them the way that they're supposed to beat them. So sign me up. I'm on board with that. Because yes, they have played the A's. Yes, they played the Reds. But the only game that wasn't like, whoa, Red Sox, like, whoa, is their loss against the Reds 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, they've done pretty much everything that's been asked of them since they started off horribly. Quite frankly, they had a terrible start. They were below the Orioles, who honestly aren't that bad this season, but they were below the Orioles. Now they're above them. They're sitting above 500 as well. They're above the White Sox, who they were below for the whole season. So yeah, I think the Red Sox, a team that I'm going to tell you right now, a sleeper team that's on the come up. You brought up the Mariners. I didn't want to put this team in my top 10, but the Marlins. The Marlins are coming. I'm telling you, Jazz Chisholm and that pitching, they have one of the best pitching duos in all of baseball right now.
Pitching is nice.
So I was about to say the Mariners. The Marlins are coming. They're only 3 games behind the White Sox. I'm just looking at the overall standings. They're only 16 games back of the Yankees. That's nothing. I'm telling you. I am telling you right now. Keep an eye out for the not the Mariners, the Marlins. The Marlins are coming, not for the number 1 spot, but they're coming for that number 10 spot in our power rankings. I'm telling you right now.
I'm gonna have to watch some Marlins baseball. I think they play today. If they don't, then they definitely play tomorrow.
No, they do not play today.
Yes, so they're playing tomorrow. So I gotta check out Sandy and the crew pitching, and I gotta see Jazz get on.
Let me see
some contact swings.
Nah, it's Edward Cabrera who's pitching. When does Sandy or Pablo pitch? Oh, Sandy pitches on Wednesday. So.
Oh, who they play?
The Nationals. So they're gonna.
They should beat the.
If they don't beat the Nationals, then I retract my statement. They got to win 2 out of 3.
Okay, that's fair. Well,
all right.
That's the pod for today. I mean, good pod. It's always good pod. We'll be back Wednesday. Got to get some informative information out. You know the vibes. Subscribe to the podcast on all podcasting platforms and YouTube. Like and comment on our videos on YouTube. Follow us at 1497 Sports on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Me and the greatest co-host to ever touch foot on the planet, Michael Wood, will be back Wednesday. As always, trust the process. Enjoy your Monday. Shout out to my boy Ron Peel in the picture and the Playboy hoodie. I'm out of here.